Good morning, I'm Drew Carney. We are continuing to follow breaking news this morning. A large fire at an apartment building near 104th and East Burnside. Take a look at the flames from earlier this morning. This was right around 6 o'clock. The fire started just before 6. Portland Fire and Rescue says they had to rescue 2 people. 2 others were taken to the hospital. One of those people jumped out of a window from that building to escape the flames. We have live coverage of this fire still happening on our TV streaming app, KGW+. You can download that for free through Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. All right, Rob, what do you have for us?
We have a nice day coming up. It will become noticeably hotter, about 10 degrees more so than what we've been seeing the last couple of days. And that will put us up to about 90. So you will feel that turn up in the hot department. 76 though at noon, right now it's 64. So a nice morning. There's the forecast high at night.
State. Breaking news here at 6 o'clock. We're still covering that large fire in Portland's east side, an apartment complex, injuring 2 people.
It was completely black by the time I came outside, but the fire was already out by the time I came outside, so they did a good job.
I thank God that they were able to catch him and they were able to let, you know what I'm saying, get it out, because they've all been spreading.
Police catch a man accused of deliberately setting 3 fires in a North Portland park.
We've heard about people breaking out of jail. How about trying to break into one? We're going to talk about what this man was doing, shattering the glass of the lobby door to this jail, coming up in just a few minutes.
And later, a man uses music to deal with leaving a war-torn Ukraine behind. We'll tell you how he is working towards a better life ahead on KGW News at sunrise. Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Let's send it right over to Rod Hill in the Weather Center talking about that Friday forecast.
Yeah, hi everybody. It's a nice morning. We're starting off with sunshine. It'll be sunny throughout the day. Temperatures, of course, now on the rise in the 8 o'clock hour. We're at 64 degrees. I have it nice throughout the morning hours, 76 degrees at noon. After 2, you'll start to notice, hey, this is hotter than it's been the last couple of days. Last 2 days have been 80. Today we'll get up to about 90 degrees for high temperature. Your entire weekend, for the most part, is sunny with highs around 90. And we'll have that updated 7-day forecast for you coming up shortly. That's your update for now.
All right, we have a look at your drive times right now on East 26, Brookwood Parkway to I-405, 18 minutes, and Troutdale to I-5, 19, Wilsonville to the Markham Bridge, looking good at 18 minutes there.
All right, let's get back to the breaking news story this morning. That huge structure fire on Portland's east side. This is over at 104th and East Burnside. This is the video from 6 o'clock this morning. You saw all those flames pouring out of that apartment complex. Portland Fire and Rescue arriving just after that. Another shot we have for you this morning is a drone shot just above that structure. You can see the firefighters were able to put the flames out. In fact, they did so pretty quickly when you consider just how big that fire was.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is on the ground, also live at the scene right now. So earlier this morning, we heard from Rick Graves with the Portland Fire and Rescue, and he said that one of the victims in the hospital jumped out of the window.
Yeah, that's right, China, and I just got some more information from Rick Graves. He tells us that somebody has now been detained as a part of this fire investigation. That person has not been arrested, but they have been detained and are being questioned by the fire investigative unit. Those are people who are both firefighters but also have police responsibilities and are able to arrest people. So that person has been detained, again, not arrested, as they're looking to glean more information about this fire here, which residents told us earlier they believe was intentional. I'm going to step off so you can see a little bit behind us. There's still a huge presence out here. Firefighters continuing to fight this fire. It's been extinguished, but just a couple of minutes ago, they went back inside. We heard one firefighter say to another, they believe that there might still be some fire or smoldering in the attic, so they're going to check back on that again. But when they arrived here just before 6 a.m., there were people actually jumping out of windows to try to escape the fire. Here was their initial response.
Boots are on the ground right now. I mean, we train for this. We plan for rescue. We expect to perform rescue. The men and women of Portland Fire and Rescue train for this daily.
These are tenants who are just now waiting to hear what's next. We spoke to the landlord. He didn't want to do an interview, but he tells us that he's been going around talking to everybody, making sure that if they need Red Cross, they're able to get it. And guys, I want to show you a little bit of what we're seeing as well. Just the immense response from firefighters. When we first arrived on scene here a couple of hours ago, there are more than 50 units here. You can see just all the way down Burnside on this side of East Portland, there's still complete blockage of the road. The MAX lines are now running. The other side going eastbound is also open now. But back here on the westbound side of Burnside, there's fire crews all the way down the street blocking traffic, and it's been this way all morning long. Of course, that fire displacing many residents. Dozens of people have been displaced. Many more units have been affected. Many people left grappling with determining what's next for them. Now, again, as you mentioned, China, we know that 2 people have been taken to the hospital. One of those people actually jumped out the window trying to escape the fire. That led to their injuries. And of course, again, just a huge response from Portland Fire and Rescue. Seemed like they were able to get a pretty good jump on this thing, knocking it down within an hour of being out here off of East Burnside in this apartment complex housing dozens of families. But again, you can see we can't even go as far as they are. There's waters, there's Gatorades, there's some more residents over here that we've spoken to throughout the morning, just trying to wait and determine what's next for them. And there's not a lot of answers right now, right? Red Cross is coming, they're not here yet. Until then, residents are left kind of in limbo, waiting to know what's next, and again, to determine if this was an arson. Again, somebody has been detained. That person has not been arrested. As fire investigative crews continue to talk to that person, I'm sure we're going to learn more about that investigation throughout the morning. Guys?
Thomas, thank you for reporting on that fire. A lot of news coming out of there minute by minute. In the meantime, a man accused of deliberately setting 3 fires in a North Portland park is scheduled to appear in court later today.
So fire investigators say that these fires burned through brush in the Bluff area of North Portland that overlooks Swan Island and the Willamette. We're giving you a look through this map here. KGW's Alma McCarty has more after checking out the damage.
Along the winding paths in this North Portland park,
The bluff is the bluff, man. Like, I guess now it's called the Dog Bowl.
visitors Thursday afternoon might have seen evidence of small fires in the grass and brush.
That's fearful. That's crazy. And on top of that, it's summertime. It's way too hot for anybody to be setting anything right now.
But that's exactly what fire officials say happened Thursday morning. Crews showed up on scene around 11:15.
As they're arriving, they see an individual leaving one of the existing locations of flame in a hurry, looking rather suspicious.
A suspect later arrested and identified as 41-year-old Joel Epwan allegedly set 3 fires in an area filled with vegetation and fuels. Rick Graves with Portland Fire and Rescue says on top of that, the park's often filled with people.
There's a well-known unhoused population, and then there's many homes that sit at the top of the bluff just on the other side of a bank of trees.
A day prior, the same station that responded here tackled another vegetation fire near Delta Park. While Graves says they're unaware of the cause of this one, he says the similar situation posed similar challenges.
Accessing some of these vegetation fires is a little bit difficult. It isn't like we're driving up on a roadway, there's a hydrant to attach to, and there's a structure sitting right there. It isn't part of a designed area. It's open space.
As the weather warms and wind picks up, firefighters continue to push fire safety and vigilance.
Just be cautious when you're utilizing any open flame for whatever purpose. We're all in this together.
Portlanders like Natasha Green feel the same way.
I thank God that they were able to catch him and they were able to let, get it out, because they've all been spreading.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
All right, next story this morning. We've talked plenty about people breaking out of jail on the news before, but how about someone breaking into jail? Police say they arrested a man in Columbia County for allegedly doing just that. After getting released from a DUI detox hold, the man was caught on camera repeatedly kicking the front door of the jail's lobby and shattering the glass. Well, in the end, he did get back in jail because St. Helens police quickly arrested him again, and he's charged with felony criminal mischief.
Must be some pretty good meals there, right? Why else would you want to get in?
Food.
Yeah.
You made our director, Brian Matthews, laugh.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, maybe. You didn't eat breakfast yet, did you, Rod?
I had a banana and what else have I had today? A piece of cheese.
Your stomach's doing your thinking, I think.
Here's our Stickwins Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. The weather models, if they're correct, they clear you folks out of the fog and low clouds earlier today than what we've seen the last couple days, but it is cloudy like this all the way up through Astoria this morning. Here's one more camera. This is Depot Bay, downtown 101, all socked in. The camera right by the entrance into the harbor there from the Channel House. So that's a scene. If you're going to the coast early this morning, you should expect some afternoon sun. Here's partly cloudy skies over the city from the Pioneer Park building looking over the square, Pioneer Place, and of course the beautiful courthouse there. Partly cloudy, 64 degrees in downtown Portland right now, calm winds. And other temperatures, we have no alerts today. The only problem at all would be reduced visibility this morning along the coast. Otherwise, you'll find sunshine and warm to hot temperatures, but no extreme heat today and no thunderstorm risk. Everybody will stay dry with sunny skies. 67 in Pendleton right now. Beautiful morning over in Central Oregon. Bend checking in about the same as Portland. In fact, exactly the same at 64. Weather map later today. Upper 80s to about 90 from Portland down to Eugene. This shows Kelso in the mid 80s. Nearing 90 in Madras. Bend 86. The Dalles and Pendleton expected to get up to 90 degrees. Pretty nice weather overall for this time of the year. Here's our 7 days. So your weekend is basically right back up to about 90. Maybe we just hit it today. Could stay short tomorrow, 88, 93 Sunday, 87 Monday, which is key because that's cooling from a push of cooler weather. That may bleed into Tuesday and Wednesday. Right now, we've still got an impact alert for potentially hot afternoons to plan your day around Tuesday and Wednesday at 95 and 98. But forecast models are starting to trend that we may be able to lower those temperatures in the days ahead. We'll keep you updated, and that is your forecast.
Thank you, Rod. Your time now is 8:10. Taking a look at your traffic times right now. Brookwood Parkway to I-405, about 17 minutes. And then green is go for Troutdale to I-5 and Wilsonville Road to Markham Bridge, taking about 17, 18 minutes.
Still ahead here on Sunrise, the major recall from one of America's top car brands. Who's issuing the recall and which cars are affected? That story straight ahead, international headlines. Plus,
President Trump and the First Lady traveling to Central Texas today to meet with some of the families so devastated by flooding there. Also set to join in a roundtable with first responders and local officials as questions are growing about the warning systems in place. I'm Alice Barr in Washington. Latest details coming up.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
President Trump and the First Lady are heading to Texas today for a first-hand look at the damage caused by last week's flash flooding.
At least 120 people have been confirmed dead and over 170 are still missing. This as questions are still being asked about the state's flood warning system. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Washington, D.C.
1 week after the floodwaters came rushing in, President Trump traveling to Central Texas today for a first-hand look at the broken heart of a national tragedy. as an army of volunteers joins more than 2,000 first responders working to reunite victims with their families.
We'll stay until we get it done. Yeah. And we want them to have closure.
Questions are mounting about whether more could have been done to get people out of harm's way. President Trump telling NBC News in a phone interview that while local officials loved the victims here and no one saw this coming, quote, in retrospect, after having seen this horrible event, I would imagine you'd put alarms up. Records from a 2016 Kerr County meeting show a former commissioner called the flood warning system pretty antiquated. And now new questions over how quickly local alerts went out.
Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
At the federal level, the White House adamant funding cuts did not hinder the National Weather Service in issuing warnings, while putting President Trump's calls to phase out FEMA on hold.
Well, FEMA is something we can talk about later, but right now they're busy working, so we'll leave it at that.
Amid so much devastation from Camp Mystic and all along the Guadalupe River, a local artist gathering photos for a wall of hope.
Thinking that there's a family suffering behind each of those pictures really brings home the feeling of honoring the people that were lost.
Looking to highlight the deep love in profound loss.
In their visit to Kerrville, President Trump and the First Lady are set to join in a roundtable with first responders and local officials, as well as meeting with some of the families so devastated over this past week. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Here's a look at some other national headlines with your morning rush. A federal appeals court in New York upheld the jury's verdict that found President Trump liable for sexually abusing and defaming writer E. Jean Carroll. President Trump now has less than 90 days to ask the Supreme Court to hear his appeal. If that doesn't happen, he'll have to pay Carroll $5 million in damages. Ford Motor Company recalling more than 850,000 vehicles because of a potential low-pressure fuel pump failure which could cause engines to stall. So this recall affects certain Ford F-150s, Lincoln Aviators, and Ford Mustangs, among other models. Ford is still working on the fix. So the recall is on, the fix efforting. Paul McCartney, meanwhile, heading back on tour with a 19-date North American run that will kick off in September. Tickets go on sale next Tuesday. Paul McCartney, by the way, is 83 years young. And that's a look at your morning rush.
Here comes the sun.
Very well done.
Yeah, there you go. Would you guys say it's been a normal, a hot, or a cold summer season so far? And go back to spring. Think about June and what we've done. Sir, Drew.
I'm going to say, as far as normal temperatures go, it's cold.
You say it's been a cold. What do you think?
Normal.
Normal, okay. It's been pretty close to normal. And I say this because do you remember last July was the warmest July on record. Last July, starting with the 4th, we went 92, 99, 99, 100, 102, 104, 93 through the 10th. And then we hit 90 again on the 14th. We haven't had any long runs of 90 degrees.
Right.
We've had 3 back-to-backers.
That's why I said it's been cold.
Yeah, nothing warmer than 96. So, Drew Carney, I would say a lot of people probably thinking what you're thinking.
But you're saying the answer is normal. China's actually right.
Yeah, pretty close. But we're being climatized to think that above normal is normal because we've been above normal almost every single summer lately. Anyway, my point out of all this is we're soon going to be getting into the middle of July, and fingers crossed, so far we haven't had any extreme heat. We haven't had any big stretches of heat, just a couple back-to-back days. Now we're alerting you for the potential of some hot weather coming for 2 days, next Tuesday and Wednesday. But the models that have been showing this are now starting to back off. For now, we're still saying next Tuesday, Wednesday, 90s, maybe 100 degrees. But this is key. This is Wednesday of next week, showing a low pressure system that comes out of Canada starting Monday, and here it is on Wednesday. But it brings down a push of cooler weather and may play a role in keeping really hot weather to our south and actually out west into the Pacific. Now, for now, we still have the alert up for potential 95 to 100 degree weather for next Tuesday and Wednesday, but maybe we get through next Tuesday and Wednesday instead of 95 to 100, maybe it's more like 92, 95, and then just like that, we drop down and be significantly cooler Thursday and Friday of next week and somehow avoid any big heat story. That's a possibility. Out there today, we are warming up, but nothing extreme. A lot of us will get back up closer to 90 today. Overall, it's a sunny day coming. We do have some cloudiness, but it's mostly sunny overall inland. There's Salem, our state capitol building. Here's downtown Portland with the morning sun. We have clouds and fog at the beach expected to clear this afternoon. Newport, good morning. You're at 52. 64 Portland, Salem, and 64 over in Bend. Inland temperatures generally in the 60s at this hour. Our coast forecast. Assuming we get the afternoon sun, Astoria, you could get up to 70. You'll need a good bit of afternoon sun to do that. Right now, you're cloudy. Here's the forecast up on the mountain, warming up. Government Camp, 78. Timberline, could be about 79 today. Winds are light in the gorge and expected to kind of stay that way with the predominant north wind direction today. It shows Hood River 92 and the Dalles 95. So again, we're warming up, just nothing extreme. Portland could hit 90 today. I've got a sunny weekend, 88 tomorrow, 93 Sunday, 87 that cool down Monday, 95 or 98 Tuesday, Wednesday, but if the models continue to trend, we'll lower these temperatures eventually into the low to mid 90s. For now, just keep updated and watch the updates for Tuesday and Wednesday in particular. That's your forecast.
Hey, your routing time now is 8:20. Let's take a look at your drive times right now. Not too shabby. I don't know where the accent came from, but Main Street to I-405, 12 minutes. Patton Parkway to I-84, 11. All right, a new greener ferry changing the future of transit in Seattle coming up. We are taking you on board.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
In Seattle, a new kind of ferry is transforming the Puget Sound. Our sister station Seattle has more on this and the future of Northwest Transit in this edition of Environment Northwest.
It's one of the most iconic things outside of the Space Needle for this area. They represent a destination. For years to come, people point to this and they'll be like, yeah, I got to work on the Wenatchee.
The Wenatchee is making history in Puget Sound. The Washington State Ferry is now running on hybrid electric power.
We are leading America in this revolution.
Former Governor Jay Inslee drove the project for nearly a decade to cut down on pollution and noise.
We have like 3/4 of the emissions for state government comes from Washington State ferries.
We can take steps to reduce carbon emissions and reduce our fuel economy.
The Wenatchee is that first major step.
And we're talking about being, kind of net zero by 2050.
The Wenatchee used to be powered by 4 diesel engines. Over the past 2 years, 2 of those have been removed. Batteries, now the replacement power source at both ends.
So this is our battery room. Inside each of these cabinets is a rack of batteries.
The difference in noise on the Wenatchee is significant compared to its sister vessel.
Are you ready?
No, let's do it. Right now, the Tacoma is still powered by 4 diesel engines. Like the Wenatchee, 2 will eventually be removed and replaced with batteries.
We have 4 sources of power, 2 of which are online right now, and we're going to replace 2 of the sources with a device that doesn't make noise and doesn't make smoke and does just as good a job.
As the other ferries await their conversion, many are curious if the drop in decibels is worth the price tag. The Wenatchee's hybrid electric remodel cost $96 million, $36 million higher than expected.
The conversion is much more challenging than constructing a boat from scratch and building it all as one system.
And while the conversion of the ferries will have a big ripple effect in docking pollution and noise inside the boat, there's one problem this conversion still didn't solve. It won't do much to reduce noise for marine life below the surface.
And now we're recording. Okay,
Joel Olson, the founder of Cetacean Communications, specializes in underwater acoustics for marine life.
From the ferry, you would hear knocking.
It's a noise that particularly affects orcas.
It makes their world smaller. It makes it harder for them to find their prey because their sound, the echolocation that comes out.
It's actually coming from the vessel's propellers.
When we're having our new hybrid class of vessels come out, we are looking at the propeller systems for those. Since that's a new vessel, we have a little bit more ability to design on those ones.
Still, the Wenatchee symbolizes the ferry system's first ripple of progress to make a greener world.
If we use a lot less diesel and we provide a more reliable and enjoyable ride, I think that's a success.
It's going to mean a difference for, the waters we call home here.
The first step as the Washington State ferry system follows in the wake of the Wenatchee.
Meantime, on the Willamette, there's an ongoing push for a passenger ferry. The idea for the Frog Ferry, it's been floating around for years, but backers still need millions of dollars to make it a reality. To see where things stand now, just scan the QR code on your screen. It will take you straight to our story on KGW.com. Coming up in our next half hour, a cold case in Washington County has been reopened after more than 3 decades. Plus, a musician who fled the war in Ukraine to keep his family safe is now in Vancouver trying to restart his life. We have more on his story coming first. But first, we're taking a live look from our Chehalem tasting room sky cam. It looks so picturesque. It looks fake. Hey, KGW News at Sunrise continues in just a few minutes.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Good morning, I'm Drew Carney. We are continuing to follow breaking news this morning on Portland's east side. A large fire at an apartment building near 104th and East Burnside. Take a look at the flames. This is from just before 6 o'clock this morning. That's when the fire started. Portland Fire and Rescue quickly arriving on the scene and knocking those flames down. Fire investigators have also told us that they've detained at least one person in connection to starting this fire. Portland Fire and Rescue says they did rescue 2 people, 2 others taken to the hospital. One of those people jumped out of a window to escape the flames. We continue to cover this for you live this morning on KGW Plus. More of that coverage coming up in just a few minutes. Rod, what do you have for us at the Weather Center?
Video from this morning, just stunning, isn't it? We have a beautiful sunny day coming. You'll notice it's going to be hotter. We've been at about 80 the last couple of days. We'll be about 90 today. There's downtown Portland this morning. All inland areas showing a good bit of sun. 64 currently, 76 at noon. There's the hotter back end of today, reaching 90. A sunny, near 90 weekend overall. Still watching a potential of really hot weather next Tuesday and Wednesday.
We continue to follow breaking news this morning of a structure fire on East Burnside and 104th Avenue. In the last 30 minutes, Portland Fire tells us that one person has been detained by its fire investigation unit. Now, 2 people were rescued by fire crews, and we're told that one of those jumped out of their window to escape the flames.
So the call initially came into Portland Fire just before 6 o'clock. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz has been on the scene there for more than an hour now. Thomas, what's the latest?
Yeah, well, guys, they continue to try to fight that fire. And I mean, look, it's been extinguished, but they're continuing to put water on the building to make sure that any smoldering that is found, they are able to extinguish it and ensure that this is at least as extinguished as it can possibly be. I want to show you some drone footage of what we are seeing and what we've seen throughout the morning out here. Again, 2 people have been taken to the hospital. One of those people, China, as you mentioned again, jumped from the building. Fire officials tell us that they saw that all morning long of people jumping from the building. I want to show you some footage as well of some of those flames that we were seeing out here earlier this morning. A pretty astounding scene out here that's closed traffic here on Burnside as well. And look, they've been fighting this since 6 o'clock this morning, going on 2.5 hours now. And in that first hour, they were able to knock it down. We spoke to residents who said that it's been a very scary scene. Some are unsure how their unit is doing, if they're able to return to it or if they're displaced permanently. We've seen the landlord out here as well, going from neighbor to neighbor and tenant to tenant to make sure they're doing okay. We've showed you some of that fire footage. We've spoken to some people who live in these units that are just completely destroyed. Firefighters actually pulled some of these people, they tell us, out of their units, breaking their windows, pulling them out. One man who was on his way to work, about to leave for work, was pulled out by firefighters as he was cooking breakfast this morning after they broke through his window. They didn't have a choice. He just had to get out and go. Others tell us that firefighters came up to their 3rd floor apartment and grabbed ladders that they were able to go down instead of having to jump through their balcony. But again, having to break glass, break screen doors to get through, to get out. We also spoke to a man who lives on the other side of the apartment building. Fortunately, his apartment is not burned, although for hours he worried if his dogs, which were inside, were okay.
My main concern was I have my other little 4-legged baby in there, and so I didn't know what type of condition or if she was in harm. So I was just making sure that she was okay if she got out. I knew that my sons were already with their grandmother, so it wasn't like that much of a heartthrob unless my kids were here. But I've had my dog ever since she was just a little puppy, so I just wanted to make sure she was safe.
That dog that he's had since she was a little puppy, we saw just a few moments ago, him walking out of his apartment with her in tow. So that dog is okay, and a lot of people here on either side of the building making sure that their neighbors are okay, making sure that their animals are okay. Now, a lot of people are just sitting around this area while firefighters continue to monitor this building. You can see right up there as he just bent down, there's still firefighters on the top floor. Again, people were jumping from 3rd floor balconies to escape this fire as crews were arriving on scene. Immediately, the first thing they did is put up those ladders and get people out as quickly as they could. Obviously, that's the first priority whenever they arrive on scene like this, is to make sure everybody's safe. They did a heck of a job out here today, guys. 2 people transported to the hospital for injuries, but seemingly nothing critical from what we've been told. Again, 1 person has been detained. They have not been arrested, but they have been detained in regard to this fire. We asked fire officials earlier if this was arson, if they thought that this was intentional. They didn't know at that point in time, but that's at least a clue of where this investigation is currently going. That neighbor you also just heard, he told us that he believes it was intentional. He heard some commotion earlier the night, a fight, and he believes that escalated. Of course, again, 1 person has been detained, nobody has been arrested. Firefighters, again, you can see going up that ladder, continuing to work on this building and ensure that that fire is completely out. Guys, something we'll continue to monitor all throughout the day. Drew, China.
Thomas, great work. Comprehensive coverage of that breaking news story for us this morning on Portland's east side. We'll continue to update you as we get more information. In the meantime, let's send it over to Rod Hill in the Weather Center. Rod, what do you have for us?
Well, good morning. Terrific storytelling there from our Thomas Schultz. We have a beautiful day coming. You'll notice it's going to be hotter by about 10 degrees this afternoon. The last 2 days, Wednesday, Thursday, PDX stopped right at 80 degrees. We might stop right at 90 this afternoon. Sunny skies, 64 out the door, a nice morning, 76 at noon, and then we start to get a little toasty. Potentially reaching 90 degrees at 5 o'clock. No alerts or advisories for our two-state area today. That's good news. Everybody will be dry, no storm chance. And some warm to hot weather, yes, but nothing extreme. This shows Pendleton at 90 at 5 o'clock. That's considered really comfortable for you folks, as you know, 94 in the Dalles. Wind direction is north, and the gorge winds are light this morning and expected to stay generally under 20 miles per hour today. 90 in Albany. I think Salem will hit 90, and Portland might just make it up to 90 for a high. We'll put that as a possibility. 88 tomorrow. Could be some early clouds on your Saturday, but mostly we're looking at a sunny weekend. 93 on Sunday. Monday, 87. Now, for now, we still have the KGW weather impact alert for hot weather Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Matt lowered his temperatures last night. I've lowered mine to 95, 98, and the weather model is still coming in this morning showing we might get to lower these numbers again. But for now, just keep your eyes on what we're doing with Tuesday and Wednesday's forecast of next week. And that is your update on a Friday morning.
All right, thank you, Rod. Quick look at traffic here in the 8 o'clock hour. Things definitely moving smoothly on that 205 South Drive from Patton Parkway to I-84. That's just an 11-minute drive right now. A little bit slower right above that, I-5 South from Main Street to 405. That is a 13-minute drive at this hour.
More than 30 years after a Washington County woman was murdered, her case is being reopened. In 1994, 84-year-old Vita Hardbeck right there was found dead at her home in Gaston. At first, investigators thought that she died of natural causes, but an autopsy confirmed that she was killed. The case went cold, but now, 31 years later, it's getting a second look after the DA's office got a grant to search for new DNA. We spoke to Hardbeck's daughter about the case.
This was so surprising to me when the police called and said they were opening the case. It really startled me because, to me, that was in the past. I was beyond that. Now they brought it all up again, and everything's kind of coming to light.
The case was one of more than a dozen eligible for review by a newly reopened cold case unit.
Earlier this week, Portland police say they arrested a man who's accused of stabbing and killing another man last year. According to court documents, 61-year-old Ronnie Scott and 73-year-old Kenny Hausman had an argument last July about homeless campers and RVs parked along Clinton Street in southeast Portland. Scott told police that Hausman hit him with a stick, so he says he stabbed Hausman in the chest. Hausman died from that stabbing. Police arrested Scott last year, but he was released at the time without charges. Then on Wednesday of this week, police arrested Scott again after a grand jury recently indicted him. He's now charged with manslaughter and assault.
The flooding in Texas that we have been reporting on the past week is raising questions about flood warning systems here in the Northwest. Emergency officials say a lot of the process starts with the National Weather Service. Their Portland office is staffed 24/7, 365, monitoring and forecasting the latest weather. Their goal is to get the message out to the public about what's coming so people can plan accordingly. The NWS has partnerships with emergency management and the government to help spread weather warnings up to several days in advance. Oregon also relies on the federal government with the Army Corps of Engineers managing 21 dams in the region to prevent flooding disasters. In the event of an incoming devastating event like flooding, the Oregon Department of Emergency Management would also be involved to help with critical resources.
Resources could be anything from volunteer programs to the fire assets, fire resources, and support for the Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office, sometimes for Oregon Department of Forestry, bringing in FEMA to bring additional resources if needed. It just depends.
To make sure that you're in the loop about severe weather, you can use alert tools like OR Alert, which covers all jurisdictions in the state. And you can also watch KGW Sunrise to hear our very own Rod Hill talk about any weather alerts coming our way. After the break, we're meeting the musician rebuilding his dream one note at a time after fleeing war-torn Ukraine. Stay with us.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Next up this morning here on the Sunrise Show, the latest edition of KGW's Pacific Storyland, where we meet a Vancouver musician who's building a new life for himself after fleeing from Ukraine.
He says he had to sell his prized cello in order to support his family during their escape. Catherine Cook and photographer Dan Arusha bring us the story.
Tuning up in the orchestra pit and warming up on stage. All of it brings riffs of excitement for cellist Nikolai Dorosh. On this night, the Broadway Rose Theater Company will present Waitress.
I'm happy to be here because it's really interesting music and really high quality musician.
And yet, it's a world away from where Nikolai was just 3 years ago, living in Ukraine and performing around the world with the Ukraine National Symphony. All of it changed when Russia invaded Ukraine. Nikolai remembers the explosions as he gathered up his wife and kids.
Said them, wake up, we go to travel.
One of the few items Nikolai packed was his beloved cello. Made by a renowned German craftsman, it cost him around $40,000. But as they fled for the U.S., Nikolai sold it to help support his family.
It was one of the hardest decisions in my life. So, but you know, my kids, my family, it's number one.
For quite a while, Nikolai set aside his music. He took other jobs like rideshare driving as his family started over in Vancouver. Then, in a twist of fate, he met PSU cello professor Hamilton Chaffetz.
So my former student reached out to me and said, there's a cellist here who came recently from Ukraine. Maybe you should meet him.
By then, Nikolai had purchased a student cello just so he could play again. Hamilton connected him with community orchestras and other opportunities to rebuild his career.
When I heard him play, I was just so impressed with not only how well he played, but what he was communicating.
You know, Hamilton became for me, I call him my musical father.
With each opportunity to play,
We are incredibly lucky to have him.
Nikolai is one step closer to what he lost. That includes his beloved cello. Those here understand.
A musician's instrument is their heart and soul.
He started this GoFundMe hoping to raise enough money to buy a new cello from the same craftsman. It's true, Nikolai is a world away from his past, but now he knows
Continue playing
all the world's a stage.
as long as I can.
And if you have a Pacific Storyline idea for Catherine, let us know. You can text us at 503-226-5088 or email pacificstoryland@kgw.com.
Is this?
Are we back again?
No, is this live? This is from earlier,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Is it?
Is this from earlier?
It looks live.
Oh, yeah, it's early.
Okay, my goodness. Chad Dehart is the hand you saw there. Chad is one of our great sunrise photographers. He was at the 7-Eleven at like 5 o'clock this morning. I thought there's no way he's still there 4 hours later, right? The reason we sent Chad to the 7-Eleven down there near Nato Parkway is because today is Free Slurpee Day. Chad filling his cups aplenty there this morning. Free Slurpees all day because it's July 11th, which is, of course, 7-Eleven, yeah.
It's one of the few things in life I understand. We have all these little things that we, talk about. It's this because of that, but this one makes sense to me, 7-Eleven.
There's no real
He's a
confusion
simple
at all,
man.
right?
I drew a yellow line on this map because I am a simple man, and this helps me get to my talking point. This is an air mass map for Wednesday of next week. If you're just getting back into town, we started to talk about this Wednesday night, Thursday especially yesterday. The fact that we could be looking at some hot temperatures, the hottest we've seen so far, maybe even hitting 100 degrees Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and then cooling off on Thursday. So this is the air mass map on Wednesday of next week. The hottest air settling in red over Nevada and Utah. And the cooler weather, there's a push on Monday, and this is what it looks like on Wednesday of the blue and green colors. It comes into the upper Midwest and does perhaps leak into our areas. So could it be that that push of air that originates on Monday out of Canada and still kind of feeds into us on Wednesday holds the hot weather just to our south, and we're just on the north outside of where the more extreme weather will be? Here's the way Wednesday looks next week on an upper level map, 500 millibars or 18,000 feet. The high pressure ridging, the heat dome, if you will, 24 hours ago was closer to the coast. Now it's pushed out a little bit and up into the Gulf of Alaska instead of more into British Columbia. Here's that low and the cool push trying to come into our area. So for now, we still have an alert up, watching for maybe some mid-90s or hotter next Tuesday and Wednesday. But if the trend continues, we may lift the alert eventually and have a forecast that's more like low to mid-90s for a couple of days. So fingers crossed, if we get up to 95 or 100 Tuesday and Wednesday, of course, heat exhaustion, heat stroke will become a growing concern. Shade, water, sunscreen, you want to check on people that don't have AC. But maybe we're going to avoid that. Keep yourself updated. Thunderstorms mainly off of the East Coast. Iowa, North Dakota this morning were dry. Here in the west, we do have fog and low clouds up and down the coast. Inland areas are cleared to mainly sunny. The beach expected to clear out this afternoon and warm up to 65 to 70. But for now, it's still socked in. That's Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. There's a beautiful morning, some cumulus clouds showing up. Otherwise, a blue sky. The Mount Hood Summit, of course, from our Timberline camera, where we'll be in the 70s today at 6,000 feet. Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club in Loa looking out to the west, mainly clear. Here are the temperatures, 63 up in Seattle. No weather-related concerns at all today, no alerts. Just have the reduced visibility, the fog banks inland. You can see most areas, Salem, Pendleton, Baker City in the 60s at this hour. Valley forecast numbers jump up to about 91 this afternoon. In general, about an 8 to 10 degree warm up over the last couple of days. So you'll feel it. We're going to be close to 90, maybe reaching it. And then basically sunny and near 90 for the weekend. 88 tomorrow, 93 Sunday, 87 Monday. We've lowered Tuesday, Wednesday to 95, 98, and we may drop these temperatures some more depending on what the modeling shows in the coming days. It is birthday time, and we begin with Elsie, who is 11 today. Happy birthday to you. And also 17 today is Hayden. Happy birthday to you. Hope you have a great time on your birthday. Ryan's 35 today. Looks like a nice family pic. Happy birthday to you. We've got Patty with their dog out there enjoying some beautiful flowers, it looks like, in the background. 68 today. That's our list. Birthdays at KGW.com, and we will celebrate with you.
Quick traffic report here, Rod. Just a look at some of your drive times. People still heading into work, I would assume, on this Friday. Pretty good, pretty smooth in terms of the Highway 26 Brookwood Parkway to I-405 ride. That's a 16-minute drive at this point. Down at the bottom of your screen, yeah, smooth sailing from Wilsonville into downtown Portland. That's an 18-minute drive at this hour. We're going to wrap up the Sunrise Show for you with another live report from our breaking news story in East Portland. That huge apartment complex fire. The details after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Before we go, if you are just joining us, we want to tell you about a massive structure fire on 104th and East Burnside.
So this is video from around 6 o'clock this morning of the flames. Portland Fire tells us that they have detained one person, the fire investigative unit detaining one person in connection with the start of that fire.
The two people were rescued by fire crews. One, we're told, jumped out of the window to escape the flames.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is live there on the scene for us this morning. Thomas, can you tell us what is the latest there?
Well, guys, fortunately, Red Cross just arrived on scene, and that's something that people have been waiting for all morning long, especially those who have been displaced by this fire. We don't have an exact number, although it's at least dozens of people. This is a big apartment complex right behind us. I want to show you some drone footage, which we got earlier this morning, of this fire. Look, crews have been out here for 3 hours now fighting this thing. They first arrived just before 6 o'clock in the morning. In that first hour, they were able to knock it down pretty well, but as you guys mentioned, people were jumping from their balconies to escape the flames. As soon as firefighters arrived on scene, they put ladders up against the building, going up to that third floor, breaking screen doors, breaking windows to pull people out of their apartments into safety. I want to show you some of what the fire looked like when it was going full force here around 6 o'clock in the morning as well. A really scary situation for people here on Burnside. This, of course, closed down this area of Burnside near the 100 block here on East Burnside. More than 50 units were out here, a lot of fire units, really an all hands on deck situation as they fought this fire. Fire trucks really covering the street, blocking max lines. You couldn't get through if you were trying to. You had to walk to this area. And again, fire crews all morning long have been out here checking on this apartment, of course, knocking that fire down. It's been extinguished for a couple of hours now, but now they're going in, just making sure there's no smoldering or any hot spots that they missed. All morning long, we've heard the landlord going from tenant to make sure everybody is okay. Again, 2 people are at the hospital now. One person, again, is hospitalized after breaking their foot, or at least hurting their foot. Unsure if it's a break or not, after jumping from the balcony Again, one person has been detained as a part of this. We heard from a neighbor who told us earlier this morning he believes this is an intentional thing. Portland Fire did not confirm that, but they did tell us they have detained, not arrested somebody, so it does at least provide a clue of where this investigation is leaning right now at this instant. That neighbor that told us that they thought that this was intentional said earlier in the night he heard a fight, which he believes escalated. So clearly a lot still to be determined here off of East Burnside. Fire crews again are beginning to at least start to wrap up this part of extinguishing and focus more on the investigation into what led to the cause of this fire. But for people who have lost their homes, the biggest question for them right now is where are they going to stay? Fortunately, again, Red Cross now is on scene. That's something that they're going to be working for and working toward figuring answers out for all morning into the rest of the afternoon. Guys?
Thomas Schultz reporting live for us all morning long. Fantastic job from the firefighters. Fantastic job from Thomas keeping us informed and getting new information every 30 minutes for us. We will have live coverage of the fire starting again at noon. You can watch it live on KGW and on our TV streaming app, KGW Plus. You can download it for free through Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.
All right, Rod, a final word on the weather this weekend, please.
Yeah, it'll be sunny overall, and overall near 90. I mean, today 90, tomorrow 88, Sunday 93. Monday 87 for now, and this may change. Maybe we get lucky and we lift this or cancel it. But for now, a KGW weather impact alert for hot weather 95 to 98 Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, then a significant cool down on Thursday with a high of 87.
All right, man, what a jam-packed Sunrise show, especially all that coverage from Thomas Schultz on that fire on Portland's east side of that apartment complex. I know that China Green is going to anchor our news at noon. Rod will be here for the weather then, but we'll have more coverage, as China just mentioned, of that fire. Big story today on Portland's east side. Thanks for joining us here on Sunrise. Hope your weekend is a fantastic one. Selfishly, I'll say more importantly, we hope to see you back here Monday morning for the Monday edition of Sunrise.